Hello everyone, it's Marnie. I was meant to record a video stating what I managed to read last week at the end of the week, so yesterday, but due to family and a lot of kids running back and forwards when I tried recording and making a lot of noise, I never actually got around to doing the video. So I thought I'd put it in today's video, so today will be a catch up on the video I was meant to do yesterday, as well as my to be read for this week, and I'm also going to be doing my very first book haul because my public library does a book sale every school holidays, and they do like $1 a book, which is always a bargain, and they always have something in there that I managed to grab. I'll probably end up doing more of these throughout this week and next because the book sale goes for 2 weeks, and I'll just end up walking in there constantly and seeing what they put out that's new and everything. Or I might just end up saving it till the end of like 2 weeks and then just show all the rest of the ones I get. But I'll show what I got today because I got a fair bit, and obviously don't want to do a large video with a large lot of books and all that because I'll get too nervous, and yeah, I'd probably muck up along the ways a lot. So the first is what I managed to read last week. It wasn't a lot from when I did my video because I did my last video halfway through the week. All the books I said last week, I didn't get through all of them. I only got through 2 books. My first one was The Shadow of the Fox, which I'd already started when I did my last video. As I was saying, I was enjoying the book. I still enjoyed the book. It's one of those books that I'd recommend for anyone that likes Japan and demons and all of that sort of stuff to read. It is a very great read, and a lot of the character building in it is really well done. It did have a few points that made me roll my eyes because it was like, because I've read a lot of manga and I've watched a lot of anime, it's like one of those stereotypical things that go through a lot of them. But outside of that, it was a 4-star read for me. It'd be very rare that I ever give anything 5-star because I have this habit of always finding some small little flaw with every book for some reason. So 4-star is actually really, really good in my opinion, because if I gave it a 5-star, it would be over the moon amazing. I think there's only 3 books that I've ever read that I've given a 5-star to. But yeah, I'd recommend this to anyone who likes like your demons, Japanese culture, and yeah, anyone who likes Japan really, I guess, and all that sort of stuff. I'm sure people who are new to reading would also, like new to the fantasy world and that, would also like it because it does have a lot of the, a lot to build on that, I guess. And being a first book, it does build a lot. So I've got very high expectations for the next book, which I don't know when that's coming out, but hopefully it's soon because I really want to read the next book. And the next book I'll try and put a photo up in the corner of because I already had to return it to the library, was The Beauty of Darkness. That was the last book in the Remnant series by Mary E. Pearson. I really enjoyed the ending of it, even though I did want more from it because I wanted to know what really happened between the 2 main characters. I won't say a lot because it is a 3rd book and it'll give away a lot from the first 2 books, and I don't like giving away books for people. I like them to go and read it. But it is a series that I'd suggest people to pick up and read. It is a bit slow in some aspects, but it does like get faster in the pace and it does become interesting and it just draws you in. With the 3rd book, it did take a lot to draw me in compared to the other 2. But when I got most of the way through and it started to draw me in, then I couldn't stop reading it. I think I went from, what is it? I think it was almost 600 pages, the book, and I went from about 200 pages and read the rest, so almost 400 pages in one day, one night, something along those. Like, it didn't take me long to read the rest of them because I was just that into it. And it was really, really good. So I would suggest it for anyone who likes knights and soldiers and like love affairs and stuff like that. Like, it's not overly a big fantasy based thing, but it is a really, really good read. And yeah, so now the next part is I'm going to do the library haul first, so everything I got from the library, because one of my to be reads for this week is from that library haul. So I'll show the to be read last, but I'll show everything else I got. So like I said, the library was doing books for $1, and I got 12 books from it, which is good. Usually I get a lot more, but like I said, it's still got the rest of the 2 weeks. This was the first day. So the first book I've got here is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I'm pretty sure I've heard a lot about this on BookTube. The name was what stood out to me, was something that I've heard a lot of people talk about. I'm not sure if it was this exact one, because there is a lot of books that have the same name. But this one is... what is it? These are the questions Nick Dunn finds himself asking on the morning of his 5th wedding anniversary. When his wife Amy suddenly disappears, the police suspect Nick. Amy's friends reveal that she was afraid of him, that she kept secrets from him. He swears it isn't true. A police examination of his computer shows strange searches. He says they weren't made by him, and then there are the persistent calls on his mobile phone. So what did happen to Nick's beautiful wife? So it's like a thriller sort of crime book. And I look forward to reading it. I've heard a lot of good things, like I said, about Gone Girl, if it's the correct book that I've heard about. And it drew my attention as soon as I seen it, even though it has a very plain cover. It still drew me in, just the name of the book. The second book is... okay, this one doesn't have a proper cover because it was donated to the library so that they could sell it. But this is Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. It's a hardcover and I don't have the original sheet, the book covering, but it's got that shinies on it. But I actually borrowed this book off of my mother-in-law and didn't end up reading it before I returned them all. So it would be good to turn around and read it. I've heard there's a lot of controversy about it. So a lot of people liked it. A lot of people said that it should never have happened. I'll see, I guess, eventually. I'll get around to reading it and see how it goes. I did like all the other Harry Potter books. My favourite was like The Prisoner of Azkaban, which I stayed in the last one. So it would be very interesting to read this and see what it's like. The next book is Blood from Stone by Laura Ann Gilman. So this is Ren Valerie's job is driving her crazy. She's still Manhattan's most sought after retriever, but after last year's deadly confrontation with the silence of all the magic users wants is a break. With her apartment going co-op and her relationship with the Demon PD putting stress on her romance with partner Shirgi, is Ren finally ready to settle down to a more stable existence? I honestly thought this was a number 1. By now, rereading the back, I think it's a number 2. Which will be sad because then I'll probably put off reading it until I get the number 1, like I do with all my series. But it's not number 2, it's a lot further down. I'm going to have to get all the first books for it now. I have a habit of doing that. I'll pick up books that are further in the series and then I'll have to go back and find the first ones. But it did sound interesting when I picked it up, and I thought at the time it would be good. It is good, so I'll end up getting to it when I get the rest of the books for it. Alright, so this is another one that I turned around and grabbed and then realised it's not the first book, but I wanted it anyway because I already planned on getting the rest of the series, which is A Court of Frost and Starlight. I did start A Court of Thorns and Roses, I'm pretty sure the first book is. Yep, A Court of Thorns and Roses. I did start it. I didn't get too far through it before I had to end up returning it to the library. Which took a while to get in, and then when I had to return it, I couldn't be bothered putting it on hold again because I didn't want to have to wait the months and months and months, so I decided I was going to buy it myself. When I saw this, I kind of got confused, forgetting which one was first, and I thought this one was the first, and then remembering that no, it wasn't this one. So I'll have to get the first for them before I end up reading it, but I'm still happy I end up getting it, because like I said, it's $1. I'll probably end up having to pay a lot more for the others, because books aren't cheap in Australia, and it drives me nuts sometimes, which is why I tend to go and get second-hand books. Like my bookstore has a second-hand bookshop, like book area, and I'll get books from there, and like, they're lovely. Like, they're still in good condition and they're all still good, but you know, everything like second-hand stuff needs a home too, so I'll go and adopt them like I would a dog out of a shelter. They can come home with me. Alright, so the next book is Halo by Alexandra Adornetto. Like I said, I suck at pronouncing authors' names. Sometimes even pronouncing words. I'm pretty sure this is the first one. I've got another one from the series here. It's called Hades. I couldn't find anywhere inside them that stated which one was first, but I have them on my Goodreads. So I've had them on there since the middle of 2018, stating that I wanted to read these. So I'll end up going on there and finding out which one's the first one and which one's the second one, and I'll read from that. I know it was these two. I'm pretty sure it was these two first. I'm pretty sure I haven't missed the first one. But I do know that I need to get the other two in this series, and hopefully eventually I will get them. But I'm pretty sure these were about magic and... Yep, finding true identity. So these are like a fantasy-based book. Yep, and demons and everything. So yeah, I look forward to reading these. Now, the next lot of books, I think 2 of them are a first, and the other ones are 4, 5, and 6. I'll start with 4, 5, and 6 because I actually have number 1 to them, so I only have to get number 2 and 3. I have read all these books before, and I did somewhat enjoy them. Like the ones that the 4, 5, and 6, I didn't overly enjoy, but I think that was more due to what I was reading at the time, and I was more interested in that than reading this series, because this series, I know a lot of people ain't going to agree with my opinion on this, but this series wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be, because I did read the other series first, which was the first books she wrote, I think, before this series. But the first series that I'm going to show is the Mortal Instruments books. So I've got book 4, The City of Angels, Fallen Angels. I've got book 5, The City of Lost Souls. And I have got book 6, which is The City of Heavenly Fire. I also own number 1. That's on my bookshelf somewhere else, because I have bookshelves in 3 different areas of my house. But I still have to get number 2 and number 3. So when I get those, then I'll probably end up starting these. So they'll end up on probably my TBR, to be read video eventually. Like I said, I did start them. This series, I only started the first book. But like I said, I really lost interest in it. Like, it wasn't as interesting as this other series. I enjoyed the other series a lot more. This one kind of fell short in my opinion. So the other one is the Infernal Devices. Now, I've only got 1 and 2 of these. I think there's about 2 or 3 more. Might be more than that. Don't get angry if I'm wrong. My brain hasn't remembered how many books there are, because I read these like 3-4 years ago. But I saw them and had to pick them up because I did enjoy them, so I wanted to reread them. So I have number 1, which is The Clockwork Angel, and I have number 2, which is The Clockwork Prince. I have a huge love for some of the characters in this series, which is probably why I fell off with the other series. Also, the other series seemed more like, I don't know, it's like she got more immature in that series, and these ones were more, I don't know if the word's mature, but I'm going to say mature. But I much prefer this one over the Mortal Instruments. That being said, I also did not like the TV series, and I did not like the movie. But then again, I never generally like movies when I've read books. So I'm more a book person over a movie person. But yes, I did really enjoy this series, so I really wanted to reread them. So as soon as I saw them, and I saw the other ones, knowing that I had the first one from them, I grabbed them. I'm hoping that some of the books that the library puts out throughout the 2 weeks would be the rest of these. Just so I can start them again and have a reread. Because they're on my resolution too, to try and finish the Mortal Instruments series, because they were a series I started and never finished. Right, and the last book, which made me laugh when I saw it, because on my Goodreads, in the group that I'm in, we do monthly challenges where people pick books for us, and then we pick from the picks that they put on there. So this month's one was a recommended book in a genre that we don't normally read, or one from our to be read list. Because I chose 2 books. I got one from my to be read list, and I got one from a genre I don't usually read, which I chose sci-fi, so the person had to go and find all the stuff that they thought was sci-fi and put it up and like recommend books and like for me. So this one's a recommended one, and even though I didn't overly pick, but like the book stood out, so now it's the book that I'm reading for that challenge because I saw it and it stuck in my brain and it just stood out from all the books I saw. It's called The Girl with All the Gifts, and it's a very bright cover. It stood out amongst all the books on the table. It was the first thing that caught my eye, the first thing I grabbed, and the first thing I had to have. It's... part of me wants to say it sounds like Shatter Me, but I don't like saying books sound like other books because then you get an expectation and it destroys the book you're reading. Which is why I hate it when people go, this book is just a remake of that book and yada yada yada. I don't see books as redos of others. Like, yes, there are concepts that are the same and there are things that are the same, but every author has their own unique and special little touch to everything they put into a book. So every book, in my opinion, is unique. But this one has, every morning Melanie waits in her cell to be collected for class. When they come for her, Sergeant Parks keeps his gun pointed at her while 2 of his people strap her into the wheelchair. She thinks they don't like her. She jokes that she won't bite, but they don't laugh. When I first read the back of this, my brain clicked like deja vu. I can tell with 100% of doubt, without a doubt, that I have probably never read this book, but my brain is telling me that I have. Something's familiar about it. It might be because I've read books similar to it, so I'll find out as I read, but like I said, this is on my to be read. This is one of the books I am going to be reading this week so that I can have part of my challenge done. I'm looking forward to reading it. The back sounded awesome, even if my brain is going deja vu. I had deja vu with Shatter Me. I'm pretty sure I've read that series before, and then I ended up picking it up again last year, and I read the whole series, and every time I was reading it, I was like, oh, I know what happens next, and it was the thing that happened next. So I think I had read that series, but then forgotten about it, but I'm close to 100% sure I haven't read this series. That being said, I could have, because I have read a lot of books that I don't overly remember their names, because I have been reading for a long time. And I haven't been keeping track. I only found out about Goodreads, was it towards the end of 2017? So tracking my books only started then. But there were some books that stuck in my head and names that I remembered and books that I absolutely loved and authors I loved. But yeah, this book sounds familiar. But like I said, there is a lot of books I've read that have gone along these lines. Because I also have Whisper by Lynette Noni. And that goes along these lines also. Minus the wheelchair and stuff, but it's still along the same lines. And my last book is one that I had in my to be read from the last video, which I have now decided that I'm only ever going to do either 2 or 3 to be read books for a week. And then if I do more, then it's a yay factor for the fact that I'll add more. But that is Children of Blood and Bone. I've started this. I'm currently up to page 17 at the moment, because I only started it tonight while I was waiting for my kids to go to sleep so I can record this video. I am enjoying what I've read of it so far. Like I said, it's not a lot, so yeah, my opinion can go either way with it at the moment. I'm hoping it stays going the good way because it does sound interesting and it does pique my interest, like I said. But yeah, it is my current book that I am currently reading, and then after this one I'll be going on to The Girl with All the Gifts. And then if I finish those before the week's up, like I said, I'll move on to another book which I'll put in my next video, or my video for the end of this week anyway. So, that is all my books. I will apologise now for the poor quality. I'm still filming off of my mobile phone because I have not got my camera in yet. I'm filming at night because that way my kids are asleep and I don't have to worry about them running back and forth. I have changed my location because I'm in my lounge room near my books and stuff, which has made me happy. Oh, there is another book I'm reading. It's called Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I said last video that I'd be reading Jane Austen's books, which were out of this, but they didn't pick one of the books I have in that collection, so I had to go out and get the other book, but it's currently an audio book, so I'll try and put a picture up in the corner of it. and that's for a book club from Paperback Bones on Instagram. So if you want, you can go on Instagram and all that. Like I said, I've got Instagram. You can get the link below and go and check out my Instagram and see. Like, I've put up, I think, one at the moment. I'll be doing some more on what I thought of it and how it went and all that as the month goes on, because the book is for the month, and then it will change to the next one of her other stories in the next month. I'll also be putting up on Instagram about maybe some of my thoughts on the books I'm currently reading at the moment and how I'm thinking of them at the time. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, give a thumbs up. If you can suggest any ways I can improve my videos, because like I said, I'm new to this. I'd like any advice, tips, hints, anything. Put a comment down below. You can subscribe to continue watching if you want. And I'll be posting again hopefully on Sunday. And then again on Monday. So I will, at the moment, while it's school holidays, only be doing it at the start of the week and the end of the week, because otherwise it's just going to get too hectic for me to record with my kids and everything going on. When school goes back, I'm hoping to try out some of my new ideas on showing my books and showing like different aspects of my reading and all that. And yeah, so like I said, subscribe, like, pardon me, if you want to. And I'll see you later. Bye.